because when I'm thinking about signs of spiritual blasphemy, I know that once you're fetishizing the deity, that you're not working with your ancestors.
Mm-hmm.
I know that you've skipped that process.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that you may have done it because you were ignorant about ancestral worship, what it meant, and you just saw an Oshun meme and you saw a peacock somewhere and a yellow Ford Mustang pass by, and then you spilled some Mountain Dew on your white shirt.
And there was a yellow butterfly on the fucking ledge as you walked into your house.
And then your boss smiled at you and his teeth were gold or buttery. And so, it's everything.
Now you're a child of Oshun.
Right. The universe was just, it was just letting you know that you needed to work with the energy of Oshun.
It's ridiculous.
And so it let me know that you did not consult with your ancestors because you don't understand that synchronicity does not always indicate that this is a deity calling out to you for you to work with them. Synchronicity means that there are things that you're not paying attention to in your life that you need to get a reading about through an experienced priest or priestess. That being said, I want you all to stay out of these Facebook groups asking people, how do I work with XYZ deity? What does this deity want? What do they not want? Pay for this information, okay? Because that's the only way that you're going to be able to know that it is true, is if it's paid for through a reputable priest or priestess, because reputable priests and priestesses don't use Facebook groups.
They don't have time.
They don't. Do you have a Facebook group?
I don't have a Facebook group.
I don't have a Facebook group either. Not one that I use anymore.
I don't have time.
Because the information is too valuable. It's to fetishize. You can fetishize a deity for free, but you have to pay to serve them.
Absolutely.
There's a difference.
Absolutely.
You have to pay to get mounted.
Well,
no, you don't. No, I have to take that back. You don't pay to get mounted. You have to be in Haiti to get mounted. But
and you have to have initiated and be in and have paid to be. Well, I guess you can be mounted by any. Let me say what I'm saying.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say is that to be in a position 9 times out of 10 to be mounted and to have that experience interpreted, then you would have spent good time and money immersing yourself into the religion and culture.
The only other circumstances where you be mounted and you're not initiated is if you were participating, you're in the peristyle and the Loa mounted you. I mean, it's going to happen. Like, you don't have to be, you don't even have to have African ancestry for the Loa to possess you. Because they're going to do it for whatever reason. But if you feel that the Loa or the Orisha are structuring certain experiences in your life to communicate a message to you, don't be presumptuous and say that, well, I did my research and the experiences that I have fit most closely with this Wikipedia page that I just sat up here and read. And definitely don't go to a Facebook group and ask a group of a group of 28,000 people in Yoruba studies, Ifa studies, Voodoo studies, Palo studies, whatever the name of the group shall be, and say, how do I serve this particular deity? And all they're going to do is regurgitate to you things that they found online or from a Wikipedia page or out of a book that they purchased from a bookstore. And I want to let you know that information only provides you with a framework, or at least a pre-K level starting point for how to work with that particular deity. Again, fetishizing the deity is free.
And what do you really think that Oshun is going to do with lemon cookies
that are still in the pack? I mean, what is Oshun going to do with lemon?
What is she going to do with lemon cookies?
Processed food. Processed food. So yeah, if you don't know how to do, I mean, I'm not an Ifa, but I feel like if you don't know how to do an Eba, stay away from it. I feel like you can be an independent practitioner, but I'm not an Ifa, so I'm not gonna. But I know in Haitian Vodou, and I'll say this: you don't want to set up an altar to deities in Voodoo, because even if you get the offering wrong, it's like they're gonna accept it. But I'll put it to you this way: if you ever fed a stray dog, it's gonna keep coming back to your house,
wanting more.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And so I was just cautioning you all against, trying to perform any types of service rituals without the guidance of an experienced priest or priestess, because the Loa are greedy. And they're just going to want more and more. And eventually you're not going to have anything because they're going to say everything is theirs. Is there anything else you want to say about romanticizing a deity?
I would just say, research. And then I urge people to be careful with researching, because you must understand that these are oral traditions. Mm-hmm. And so the information, no matter how prolific it may appear to be, that what you're able to find online and even in books, I have been shocked. I have ordered a number of books on Ifa, mm-hmm. the Odu in particular, and you guys, it just there does not exist an exhaustive, well-written book about Ifa. It doesn't surprise me, because this is occult knowledge. It's occult knowledge. People initiate into this with great sacrifice, financial, physical, emotional, spiritual. And so one who goes through that initiation, who actually holds that information, is not going to write a book for any amount of money to give those secrets away. We don't give it all away, Babalawo actually means father of the secrets, and Iyanifa means wife of Ifa. So the father of the secrets and the wives of Ifa are not giving this information away. So what you find on Instagram and, God forbid, Facebook groups is only going to be a small portion of what the truth actually is. But more than that, it's going to be sprinkled and confettied with a bunch of garbage.
You can't get a lifetime's worth of information in a 200-word caption. It's not going to happen. I repeat, you're not going to get a lifetime's worth of information in a 200-word caption. I want to explain something to you all, okay? So if you, the amount of money that we've invested to have the knowledge that we have, it's not just occult knowledge, it's geographically foreign knowledge, mm-hmm. that we've had to travel to acquire, mm-hmm. out of the state and pay thousands of dollars. It wasn't even a payment. We had to invest. And what we have acquired, we are now regurgitating it to you. And if you find it valuable, just know that we are trying to expand on that 200-word caption. But Sophisticated Sunday is not going to be able to give you what it is that you need. There's nothing that's going to make me reveal any of even the most simple secrets.
Mm-hmm. And I haven't told y'all shit.
No, we haven't told you all anything. We've sat here and given you all so much information and revealed not one secret.
Not one thing.
When I learned in IET was my godfather said, he said, when you go to the States, you talk about the spirituality of voodoo. You do not tell the Americans these secrets, because we do not give initiations to foreigners. So a foreigner you can be a foreigner via your bloodline. You can be a foreigner because of your nationality. You can be a foreigner because of your finances. And a lot of you will be foreigners because of your finances. That being said, stop going to other financial foreigners on Facebook and Instagram and asking them for information that they don't have to give to you.
Give you.
So the books, the other thing is that Sophisticated Sunday is also guilty of what the books do. We are not telling you about the secrets of what we practice. Even to correctly work with the Loa, that is a secret. The correct offerings that you're supposed to have. The
ritual. Mm-hmm.
That is a secret. Mm-hmm. The passwords that you have to know to invoke that particular Loa so that they can mount you as you give them the offering. Those are things that you know. It's this but worship is multifaceted. Mm-hmm. The secrets are multi-layered. And there are multiple steps to them.
Absolutely. Very intricate and delicate. The way that it has to be done if you want your work to be successful.
But you're paying for the complexity.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And anything that's complex is not going to be free.
And that's why if you get a set of alekes from me, they're not $5 a piece.
The alekes are anointed and blessed.
And a whole ritual that goes into creating them.
To make sure that they are, in my terms, to make sure that the Orisha mount the alekes versus going down to the West End, going to whatever mom and pop shop that's located next to a soul food restaurant.
And just buying a string of beads, because if you cannot be assured that your alekes have gone through this process, then all you have is a string of beads. But if you get them from me, then you have a magical device. You know. Something else I wanted to say about Sophisticated Sundays. Yes, we are guilty of doing the same things that these book authors do, but we do it in the hopes that for those of you who hear the call, those of you who are actually, I shouldn't even say hear the call, those of you who are still resisting the call, there may be some assurance given to you, some information, some motivating one thing or another that will bring you home, you know, to your tradition. That's my reason for doing it, and also to prevent you guys from fucking yourselves up.
But
give you information.
But the reason that we said that is because, well, the reason that I said that is because we're a conscious channel. We consciously operate within the boundaries of reality,
Absolutely.
which is what these books are not saying, is that they operate within the boundaries of reality. We're consciously saying that. The reality is that these are sacred traditions that we would die if we revealed the secrets to you all. Like, somebody is going to kill me if I told you all anything that happened in my Batasion. I made an oath.
Yeah, we did.
I made an oath that I would.
Several oaths.
Several. And there were several different ones.
Yeah. That
death would come to me if I was. So we are consciously operating within the boundaries of reality. We recognize the limitations of Sophisticated Sunday. Sophisticated Sunday is not going to get you where you need to be, so you need to book a reading. That way that you won't be guilty of fetishizing a deity, and you can learn how to personify it, be mounted by it, venerate it, serve it, work with it. So why is it that we give offerings to the Loa and to the Orisha? Why do we give the offerings the way that we give them?
Well, let me answer the first question first. Why do we do it in the first place?
Okay.
We do it because, again, the currency of the universe is energy. And so whatever item we offer to the Orisha or the Loa is going to have an energetic signature that will be beneficial for whatever our query is. Which is why you're always saying, stop giving your ancestors processed food. Stop giving them shit that's not even good for us in the physical. What are they going to do with it in the spiritual? You get what I'm saying? You want
the law of similarity.
It's got to be something that is pure and powerful and beneficial versus something that's garbage. You know, if it's garbage for us, as above, so below. You know, if it's garbage for us, it's garbage for them. Okay. So anyway, that's why we give the offerings, because we are paying for services. We're paying for what we need. We are paying for their time, their effort, their energy, etc. We are pushing energy towards a situation, because really that's what it is. Because even to say that we're paying the Orisha, people can't really deal with that concept outside of Western marketplace ideals. So I don't want to say that we're paying the Orisha to work for us. Think of it as we are pushing energy towards our concern. Yeah.
Metaphorically. Okay. It may take me a day to walk from Chambly to Douglasville. I need food to eat so that I can have the energy to do it. Now, what I could do is I could get in my car and put gasoline in my car and get there much faster.
And the gasoline is energy.
On my own, I'll get there in a day. Liken the car to a deity with Barone, I'll get there in 20 minutes. But Barone
requires
gasoline.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because energy is the currency of the universe. So even if I don't do it with Barone, I need energy.
Right.
Or else I'm gonna be on my deathbed and we'll never get there. So before we close out the show, I wanted us to talk about our ancestral life path readings. And I wanted to emphasize the importance of our ancestral life path readings in the context of priming our clientele for receiving other sorts of services from us. The ancestral life path readings are $80 for 20 minutes. You can get one through me, Osun Funke, or Peach Blossom. The difference between the ancestral life path readings is one is a hoodoo priestess. I'm a Vodun priest, and she is an Ifa priestess. So you got priests and priestesses working all on staff. We use different methods. We have different theologies. What we will do is we will tell you the strengths of your ancestors. Are they willing to help you? We will put you on a prayer and meditation regimen that will help you to vibrate to a level that's high enough to be in communication with them at all times. We will then give you a spiritual bath, which is uniquely designed to your specific aura or your ashe. It will enhance your connection with your ancestors and make you feel lighter. And the last thing that we're going to do is, what was the last thing? Damn.
It was 4 things.
It was 4 things. The prayer and meditation regimen, the spiritual bath, knowing who your ancestors, knowing the strength of your ancestors, and I forgot what the 4th one was.
The altar design.
Oh, damn. The altar design. How did I forget? We're also going to tell you we're also going to give you the instructions for an altar. Okay, the altar instructions are going to be specifically and uniquely tailored to meet your needs, and it's going to be translated to you from your ancestors. This should be the first reading that you get from anyone at Black Spectrum Network. It should be the Ancestral Life Path reading, and then from there you can purchase other readings through us. Anything you want to say about the Ancestral Life Path reading and how that's different from your Ori Life Path reading?
Well, it's different because it's specifically informed by the ancestors versus your Ori, which is your higher self or your divine self, or the Orisha.
Okay.
So that's the main difference. It's just your ancestors are telling you what they need and what they want, and they're speaking directly to us.
But what about what is required? Your ancestors require different things than what the Orisha require. And so some people, when they're booking the readings, they're not knowledgeable about the requirements of an Orisha versus the requirements of an ancestor. So can you talk about the differences between the two?
Well, the ancestors require, what they require most is obedience. They're going to give you information. They're going to give you advice. They're going to tell you to do things. And that is so that you can be properly positioned so that they can do what they need to do to assist you, period. So the ancestors are going to tell you what to do, and you are supposed to do it. When you work with the Orisha, it's kind of the other way around. You are asking the Orisha to do things for you. They will tell you what needs to be done. Then you ask them to do it, and then you push energy towards it. I hate to say pay for it, but you push energy towards it. Yeah.
Okay.
That's the main difference. So when you're working with the Orisha and work has to be done, it usually requires you to make some sort of investment because you're going to purchase an animal, you're going to purchase a specific tool, you're going to have a ceremony done on your behalf. Things like that, whereas the ancestors might simply say, I need you to start getting up at 5 a.m. on Wednesdays. And then you just do that and you've satisfied that ancestor. You've satisfied that. But Shango may require me to make something specifically for you to, or let's say Ogun. Ogun may require me to make a specific item for you to be placed in the trunk of your car to protect you from a certain thing.
I'm going to be opening up my astrology analyses again for clients that are interested in an astrological analysis. The astrology analysis are much more scientific than my other readings, because the astrology analysis will determine what your career is supposed to be, who you know, what type of love styles you have. It's an analysis. It's a deeper analysis of your personality and who you are as a person, how you respond to certain situations, and how you work with different emotions, or how you interact or respond to external influences such as poverty, divorce, things of that nature. So astrological analyses are incredibly important, and they are also very predictive of people's behavior. I can say that I've given one to Osun Funke recently, for a close friend that she has, and she was astonished at
how accurate it was.
right.
Amazing.
And you need to I would suggest people to get the ancestral life path reading from us first, so that you can be sure, you can know what your ancestors want you to do, you can be on your path, and you're guaranteed to be on your path when you get the ancestor reading. Because once you get the ancestor reading, you get it that one time, you don't need it again. And then you can go and book other readings through us, and we can touch on other topics in your life. But your first line of defense, your first, I guess you can say, the first drop of knowledge that you should want to acquire is, what do my ancestors want me to do? What does my ancestral altar need to look like? When should I be praying and meditating? And how, what's a good bath recipe to keep me cleansed so that I can stay on my path? It doesn't matter who you book with. Your bookings will be based around preference of the reader, the preference of the style, and preference for the particular religion or spiritual practice that reader has. The final thing that I wanted to...
Well, I think it does matter, though, who they book with, in the sense of, I mean, you said it, but just to say it a little bit plainer, it's not necessarily about it will be about preference. Book with who you prefer, but understand that if you are feeling called to Ifa and you believe that your ancestors are Ifa, you don't want to call Peach Blossom to ask questions about Ifa. If you're not sure what your ancestry is, then you can call either one of us. You get what I'm saying? If you are interested in Vodou, or you heard that your ancestors were from Haiti, or you know that they were from Haiti, then it would be a good idea to probably call Nexo, because we can work within the framework of what that ancestry is. Just to make sense and just to cut out extra steps. But we would all love to read for you, so you can book with whoever you'd like, but put a little bit of thought into it. I want you guys to be more deliberate and thoughtful with both your questions and your considerations before, spending your money to do this work.
The final thing with the ancestral life path readings, you will not ask any questions.
Yeah. You're
not allowed to ask any questions. You can ask clarifying questions, but in an ancestral life path reading, we're going to give you information. We suggest you pay for an audio recording or have a pen and paper to write it down, because we don't remember our readings after we give them. None of us do. But that's something that you should know. It is not a psychic reading. We are giving you, within 20 minutes, these 4 critical pieces of information that will dramatically change your life, and that's it.
To help you begin the work with your ancestors. And it really is a necessary first step. I was paying attention to some of the chatter on the live, and I know that you guys are asking, well, why does it have to be the first reading, or should that be the first reading? And I understand that you guys might have other questions. It's up to you whether you want to address those questions first or have a different type of reading. But I think that Nexo has designed the program this way, or is making the suggestion that you do it, because 9 times out of 10, whatever you have going on in your life, we're going to tell you that you need to start working with your ancestors if you aren't already. So we're going to come full circle one way or the other. So you can call us to ask questions about your relationship. You can call and book readings about your job. You can call and book readings to find out what your path and purpose is. But at the end of that, we're going to say, well, you need to start working with your ancestors. Are you doing that? And then you're going to say, no, I don't know how to. And so then we're going to say, well, you need to book an ancestral reading so we can get you on track. Okay?
I'm never going to hire at Black Spectrum Network any motherfucker that don't work with their goddamn ancestors. So read between the lines. So with that being said, you are paying Black Spectrum Network so that you can No, you're investing into Black Spectrum Network so that you can learn how to work with your ancestors. This is a hub or digital oasis, a virtual paradise for people to learn about ancestral worship, which is a fundamental part of African spirituality.
Period.
So you have to get the ancestral reading. It is mandatory that you get the ancestral reading. It's not mandatory that you have it through us, but it is mandatory that you have it in your life. I strongly recommend that you get it from us. That being said, in the road towards enlightenment, we're offering a way. This is not the way.
Right.
This is not the way.
Right.
But if you come to work with us, the way to work with us is to get the ancestral life path reading, have your spiritual regimen, have your altar set up, know how to cleanse yourself, because you won't waste any questions in a future reading asking things like, how do my ancestors feel about me? What does my ancestors want me to do to get this? What can I do to cleanse myself?
God forbid, do I have ancestors?
Did someone ask you that?
I had a variation of that. I told you about it. And remember, it shook me to my core. And
Did someone ask you, did they have ancestors?
They said that they did not know if they had. They did not know who their ancestors were.
They were a test tube baby?
Exactly. You guys, if you were born, you have ancestors, okay? If you were born, you have ancestors. I don't care if you were adopted. I don't care if it was artificial insemination. I don't care if you were kidnapped from your birth mother and raised in the forest by wolves. If you were born, you have ancestors, and you don't need to know them for them to know you. All you have to do is cry out and they will answer, okay? So this is a necessary starting point, you guys. And we're going to come back to this place one way or the other. So you can go ahead and book your relationship reading if you really want to know what's going on with your boyfriend. But in the end, we're going to tell you that you need to start working with your ancestors.
Exactly. Because we're mainly focused on providing solutions to your problems.
Exactly.
And all problems can be solved with ancestral worship.
And if not solved, they can certainly be addressed, and you will certainly be alerted to what's going on. And from there, we can go to the Orisha or whatever else needs to be done. But the ancestors are where it all starts. And I'm glad that you said that. We are really about giving you guys solutions. There's just one thing I want to say. It's not a rant. I'm going to be really sweet. But I must let you guys know that Black Spectrum Network is not a psychic hotline. Okay? I'm not a psychic. All right? I'm going to let you identify and describe yourself. I know you're not a psychic either, but I can assure you guys that I am not a psychic. Okay.
We're not.
I'm a priestess.
We are not psychics. Nobody that works at Black Spectrum Network is a psychic. The only reason, so the reason that we say, the reason that I use the word psychic is because I'm capitalizing off
people's limited understanding
in YouTube's algorithms.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because my videos would not be as popular if they didn't say psychic reading. If I said African spiritual reading, it just wouldn't be as popular.
Right.
The most popular term is tarot, psychic, medium. I identify as a necromancer because I work with the dead. Mm-hmm. My name is Negzo,
which means the bone man.
So I identify as a necromancer. I work with the dead. I say, sure, psychic, whatever. I don't care if you identify me as I'm not a fucking psychic. Mm-hmm. I'm not. Mm-hmm. So for you hoes that are discussing me in these online forums, bitch, I'm not a psychic.
He's a voodoo priest.
I'm a fucking voodoo priest.
Thank you.
I work with the dead. Study the gay day. Stop applying these Western concepts
to African spirituality.
To African people. We're not psychics. The other thing that I want to emphasize is that Peach Blossom is also a priestess. Mm-hmm. You don't have to be initiated to be a priest or a priestess.
If it's your bloodline. If it's your,
Go, say more.
Yeah, you don't have to necessarily, but see, I can't because then these people...
They'll get it misconstrued. Yeah. I understand. Okay. Just know that Peach Blossom is a hoodoo priestess, if that makes any sense.
Yes.
She can do spiritual work for you. Her readings are incredibly accurate. And she's not a psychic.
We're not psychics, okay? We are priests and priestesses. And so, when you call us just to ask questions about, should I leave this job? Should I move to Milwaukee? Is my boyfriend cheating on me? You are actually cheating yourself. You'll notice that our prices are much more expensive than a psychic hotline because we offer solutions and we work with your ancestors and we work with deity to actually be able to give you the answers. And so we don't only give you answers, we also give you guidance. We give you lifestyle instruction. We give you spiritual solutions to your issues.
Also, the other thing, if you're contacting me, this is the last thing that's so random. I know that many of you all are fond of my videos about suicide, mental illness, and you are wondering if I can perform a head cleansing for you to help ameliorate the problems that you're having with those disabilities. Yes, I can. It starts at $1,000. Base minimum $1,000, and you're paying for 3 spiritual baths. 3 spiritual baths, and you'll sleep in my temple for half a day. And overnight. So it's going to be 2 days. 1 day is half a day, and it's going to be overnight. That being said, it starts at $1,000 base minimum because that's the bass, but it will be more. And you have to travel to Atlanta to get this particular ritual done. If that price is not something that you can afford, then you definitely can't initiate into an African spiritual tradition.
You guys don't even want to
know the price.
You guys don't even want to buy a lekes. You don't even want to pay for a candle that has been mounted or blessed, and that for a candle. I love that, for a candle that has been mounted, and the thing is, and let me tell y'all something else. I don't even want to talk about the elekes because I don't want you to think that the elekes that you receive as a prescription for your situations are the same as the elekes that are given.
The ones she's wearing.
The ones that I'm wearing. They're different. I only call them elekes because that is what you guys would recognize them as, because some of them look the same. But what you guys are actually getting is very different and a little bit juicier because it's created for a specific issue that you're having. Okay? It's more of a talisman, okay, than it's a talisman. It's a magical device made specifically for you. And it's heartbreaking when I talk to you guys and you don't want to make the investment to make your life better. And the funny thing is that, 6 out of 10 of you guys call because you're having problems with your money, or that's one of the things that show up in your reading. And it's like, okay, well, I have the perfect thing for you, for your money. You need to begin to engage the Orisha Ajay. And for that, you need to do this, this, and this. And this is how much energy you're going to have to push towards this issue to alleviate your money problems. And then you say, oh, well, can I pay you in 3 months? And so lack begets lack.
So, I can only say this, that spiritual work is expensive, and if you are not willing to pay for spiritual work, you're definitely not ready to pay for initiations. But I can tell you this, like, that's all I gotta say. I'm just leaving it right there. Let's just close the show out because we done said enough. Book an Ancestral Life Path reading.
Ancestral Life Path reading.
Me, Peach Blossom, or Osun Funke. We'll all give you the tea. You only need one.
And that's another thing.
You don't need to get one from me and then get one from her afterwards. We're gonna tell you the same shit.
Y'all need to stop that. Stop doing that. Put that money into some spiritual work because you need it. Stop buying readings and do work. Do work for yourself. Okay? If you paid for 3 readings, you could have gotten 1 reading, and then you could have followed the advice of the priest or priestess that read for you and actually put some ashe towards your issues.
All right. So with that being said, you want to end here?
I would like to end here.
Okay. So thank you all for tuning in to this week's episode of Sophisticated Sunday. I'm your reader / host, Nexo, and this is my co-host,
Osun Funke.
In the words of the rapper Dreezy, I leave you with these words of wisdom. Gave mercy to these hoes. What would Jesus do? We'll see you all next week for another episode of Sophisticated Sunday. Bye.
Peace.
So fuel my fire, take me higher, I'll be your liar too. Cause when we're here, there's nothing better than the skyline